I'm the same dude y'all read about, the same tool y'all need it now. We came through, not leaving now. When these lame dudes, we beat them out. No stopping this. Ain't my way, might pop your lip. Ain't saying this awesomeness, but y'all look like the opposite. We setting the bar. Y'all know who we are.
We're making history. Leaving a legacy. Nothing's stopping me. Better believe what we see. We're making history.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the multi-haired, good-looking devil, Josh, and this is time for the Paradigm Shift, and I'm joined by two of the greatest guys in wrestling podcast industry, my godfather of podcasting, if you will, baby, Mr. William H.G. Where's my cursor, Morgan?
If you will, baby, it's the godfather of podcasting. Come here on the Paradigm Shift Wrestling Podcast. We break the paradigm of professional wrestling. We got a lot to talk about, baby. But first, I bring on my brother from another mother, the man who made sure the stock prices all rise up. Give up to my man, TDC.
What's up? Did Bobby Heenan lose his hair?
Well, you know, Tommy, I was actually going to ask you because I'm missing it because he hasn't been here, and I just want you to send it out into the universe. Please give me a shut up, Gene.
Oh, yeah, Gene, shut up.
Wherever you are, Gene, just know Tommy still loves you.
Look, I got a phone around here. If he need it, he can have it.
Dude, we've got plans to get the man a phone if he would just reach out. We got plans to get the man a phone if he would just reach out to someone and tell him they're live. But anyway, it's been a crazy week in wrestling. Following the crazy week we had last week, we're about to talk about it. We're going to jump right into the news tonight, boys, and come to the fantasy question second. So here we go. Yeah, I got to pull this up because it's funny.
Look, Spider-Man is awesome. You leave Spider-Man alone. Spider-Man is awesome.
But I also got to pull that up as that brings me into this plug. Guys, if you have not checked out Real Reality Fantasy Football, Mr. Dennis Noel and Mr. Kyle over there, you need to go like on their Facebook, subscribe on their YouTube, find them on Twitter, and then go download the app that just dropped today. And then go find me and Will and support us. Because we going to win this, bitch. We're going to be second. I'm going to be first. But just like this year. Just like this year.
Yep.
He said you just bring in to be number two. That's all you training for.
Look, as long as one of us winning, I ain't mad.
It's all about bringing it home to pinfall.
That's right. I ain't mad. As long as one of us get it, I ain't mad.
It's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be on YouTube. The YouTube videos are going to start dropping tomorrow. So be on the lookout for me and Will's new video.
Dennis, you a fool, man.
But
look,
go check out.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault you like that man, Superman. The man who loses to a green rock. The man who loses to a red sun. The man who has no defense against magic. Yeah, that's your guy right there. It's not my fault, man. It's not my fault.
Go check out Reality Fantasy Football. They're doing some awesome things over there. And there looks like there's a good chance that me and Will are going to be on actual reality TV. So make sure you go check them out. It's going to be pretty awesome. God, can you imagine us on actual TV, Tommy? Holy shit. What are these people thinking?
Be some scary stuff.
But we're going to jump right into it, boys. So there's a lot of news going on in the wrestling world. The first one is Andrade El Idolo has signed with AEW. Not even so much the signing. Did y'all hear what this dude was asking for as far as his demands to sign with any company?
Creative control.
Not just creative control.
That's the thing that got me. That's the thing that got me.
AEW is known for giving their talent creative control. But asking to have final veto on your losses, dude, I don't even think there's an indie company that's going to give you that fully and like outright say, you can veto any loss. No company out there in a sane mind in wrestling is going to do that. I'm sorry.
That's some Triple H shit right there. That's some Triple H shit right there. Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong. Back in the day when Triple H was wrestling, he had a run where he never lost. Particularly on TV, he never lost. That's some Triple H shit.
That was about the time I started wrestling. I think it was from about 2002 to 2004 on SmackDown. He never lost.
The thing that
Never lost.
that they love to say about Triple H is Triple H was always pushed like the guy, but he was never the guy.
No.
Nope.
He was just pushed like the guy.
And the only reason that, and I think this has been said multiple times, was it JBL? The only reason he got his title run was because Triple H didn't want to work Fridays. It was Tuesdays. Sorry.
That's what Paulie says anyway. Now I don't know how much truth to that, but what Paul Heyman says.
But yeah, the man was
I think that was one of those times that like Paul Heyman, just for like all the bullying that JBL did, that he just wanted to put JBL on some kind of check. I don't think that was necessary.
I don't blame him. But I mean, we all know that the Brawl for All was JBL's fault. So
Hey, believe that.
So, but I just don't believe any company was going to give this man full veto power over his matches. Supposedly, the agreement he came with TK was that he has limited veto power, meaning TK will always have final say. I truly, Tommy, you can shake your head, and I know you're going to call me a fanboy. I think this is a good signing for them. I think Andrade was one of those guys that was never given a fair shot in WWE. He was in NXT. He did great in NXT.
But my only issue is this is it sets a bad precedent for others trying to come in because they think they can pull the same shit.
Well, no, I mean because originally they had it set. They talked like a week because Andrade never had a no compete clause, so he could have started working right away. Right. And they had to work it through. So he's not getting everything he wants. It wasn't like that. Supposedly he was really close on a deal with Impact, but Impact couldn't come up with the money he was wanting. So that doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah.
Andrade has always struck me as a guy. He knows that he is good. He knows what he's worth. Now
he's worth a lot, but to me, when you brought him in, you screwed up putting him with Vicky.
I agree. I didn't understand that one either.
That was so. It's WWE-ish.
Yeah, kind of. It's like because he's the new Eddie and kind of the first Eddie we've seen since Eddie, kind of put him with Vicky. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree he doesn't speak. He needs a mouthpiece. But to me, bring in Trinidad. Bring in Selena Vega. She was so good as his mouthpiece in WWE. Like, way better idea than Vicky. I agree with you there. I hope that doesn't last too long. Because y'all know, I'm a Nyla Rose fan. But I'm not really enjoying Vicky with Nyla. Like,
there's only a limit you can take with her.
And I feel like, I'm sorry, over the years of her being a general man, I love Vicky. I respect what she's done for the business, how she supported her family after Eddie, and how she's raised her kids, and all of that. But after years of the same basically the same character is GM that we're getting now, every time that the music cuts and we get, excuse me, I just, it cringes.
It wears on you after a while. It really wears on you after a while. And like I said, I'm there in the same boat with you, Josh. I appreciate everything that she's been through, appreciate everything that she's done for wrestling. But at the end of the day, what you're doing right now is just annoying the hell out of me and a lot of AEW fans because it's the same thing that you had before. The same thing.
I agree. Next bit of news. Lio Rush announced that he will again be retiring from wrestling. Supposedly he caught an injury at Double or Nothing, and that he feels that he needs to be doing what he loves.
Okay, so you catch an injury, but you're gonna work your remaining days. Okay, I got you.
Well, no, what he said is once he's healed, he will finish up his contract obligations with New Japan because it sounds like they're the only ones that's not letting him out of the contract. That's what it sounds to me because MLW posted today, Court Bauer posted today that they're going to let him go. AEW's already wished him well. So it sounds like New Japan wanted him to finish his dates. And he's going to finish those dates.
Man, come on. Believe that it, man.
On the flip side, we all heard Kylie Ray is coming back to wrestling, coming back to the NWA. This is now the third time that the girl has retired and came back. So I will say it right here and now, $50 that Lio Rush is back wrestling in a year.
Well, I believe you.
That's for that. He gonna have to do something because he ain't getting $5,000 for them jumpsuits.
Well, dude, from what I have heard, like it is because he is broke, and I'm sorry, he's not that good of a rapper, so he's not making money that way. You are a good wrestler, other than you have a shitty attitude. You are a good worker. Do what you're good at, bro. But he's also young.
That's true. Young and dumb. And he had the wrong people talking.
Well,
he probably got
young,
the
dumb,
wrong
and rich. Young, dumb, and rich.
He probably got the wrong
fatal combination.
He's probably got the wrong people in his ear too.
Always, but like I mean, we've said it on this show before. These guys come in, they get famous and rich at 20, 21, 22. Mm-hmm. They don't know what to do with the money, and then the next thing they know, the job is gone, and so is the money.
Yep.
And like. Leo is.
That shit goes from 8 girls outside to 7 girls outside to 4 girls outside to you borrowing one of them's Honda just to get to the next fucking town.
Hey, look, hey, you got to pay these. You got to pay these chicks, man. You got to pay these chicks. Let's just keep it real. You got to pay them, and when that money dry up, you can't pay them no more. Guess what?
So. A lot of the news we got tonight is over the guys that got released last week. My next bit of news. Did y'all hear what Braun Strowman is charging for a personal appearance on the Indies? And I'm sorry, before I even drop this number, this shows how much he does not know about wrestling outside of the WWE. Braun Strowman is quoting 5 figures for any appearance on the Indies.
Braun gonna get his money.
I mean, okay, devil's advocate for a second. Is it worth it? Because he will draw. No matter what small ass show you're coming back from COVID, is it worth it for one of these indies
honestly,
to try and pull it?
I think if he went to the indie scene, they would eat him alive, and they would eat him alive on purpose. Just because he's such a WWE type guy, he's such a standard big, typical Vince McMahon type of guy, and I just don't think they would accept him. Like I think the crowd would just eat him alive. They wouldn't want nothing to do with him.
Well,
do you remember when David Arquette showed up on the wrestling scene?
Remember that?
I think Braun would get almost the same response because of, like the comments he said and his attitude. You want 5 figures? Come on, man.
That was going to be
for an appearance.
That was going to be my comment. Was we all know like a lot of indie fans don't even watch like wrestling, like TV wrestling. They love their indies. That's all they care about.
And the ones that do, they damn sure don't respect guys like Braun Strowman.
Exactly. Right. And so I kind of agree with you, Tommy. I feel like he does a couple of appearances on the indies and gets booed out of it. Because we all know there is a promoter out there who's like, ooh, I got the money. I can get him the money.
I mean, Braun Strowman wants to respect. Basically what David Arquette did, go let Nick Gage beat the fuck out of you for 20 minutes with glass and shit.
Hey, I gotta say, after that and watching Arquette's documentary and watching him earn some rep on the indies, I respect David Arquette as a wrestler.
Yeah, David Arquette's got my respect. He's earned
I'll even give you this. I respect Stephen Amell as a wrestler more than I respect Braun Strowman as a wrestler because they have. No, Stephen Amell hasn't been on the indies, but he worked for his match. The one match he did, you saw that man put in work to make it a good match with Christopher Daniels. I don't feel like Strowman puts in that work and he is a professional fucking wrestler. That's just my opinion.
You just make sure, Vince, you just make sure they play the chugga chugga sounds when I go running around the
Well, that brings me to my next bit of news on another. Well, and this actually, I'll lead in with this because it's being reported that Tommy End, that some people are feeling Tommy End, aka Aleister Black in the WWE, was released too soon. Some WWE higher ups are saying this, and there's a push to re-sign him. First, before I ask this question, do you think, out of all of this, do you think Strowman ends up re-signed? Because, like you said, Tommy, Vince loves his big guys. And Vince is known to let a guy go to kind of teach him a lesson and then or let him go, cut Braun's contract in half. And I think Braun would still come back because he is WWE.
I think that's the reason why he got let go in the first place. Is he didn't want to rework his deal. He was making some good money.
You bring it. Oh yeah, they said he was making six figures. They said, and like pulling in one of the top contracts, and he was one of the only guys pulling in that kind of money that didn't have a no cut clause.
I think the only thing about it though, once he started getting injured, start showing some wear and tear on his body, that money doesn't go with the dates. If you can't work the dates, you can't get that money, and I think that's why he got cut.
Tommy, what do you think?
What was the question again?
Will Braun Strowman re-sign with WWE?
Not right now, but I could see it in a few years or something. I think he goes back to bodybuilding.
I mean, but you look
super
at
jacked right now.
You look at Gulak. You look at I can't remember his name over in WWE, but Spud. They both re-signed. We all know they re-signed for a smaller deal. I don't know. Braun is vocally. Braun reminds me a lot. I think Braun's going to become the next Ryback. I'm not good. But so the rumor is that WWE higher ups are pushing for Tommy End to re-sign. Do you think he re-signs?
I mean, I think you probably would, considering he had no hostility, it sounded like. But I don't know. If I'm him, I don't know if I would. Because, like, after I listened to things that he said, like, about how many times he had to jump through hoops, and they would lead him this way, and then he would go this way with something, and then it would just be a dead end, and then they would lead him back this way, and it'd just be a dead end. So I just don't know if he would just want to turn around and just waste his time, because that's literally what he was just doing. But, I mean, money talks, so...
Yeah,
because I don't give a damn what any of these superstars says on the indie circuit. I don't fall for that bullshit about I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the passion of professional wrestling. I've heard that from some of the biggest guys that said that's the same guys that end up taking a big contract at WWE to go make some money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I love it.
We're about to move into him, so I'll bring him up. The Talking Shop guys, Gallus Anderson, the Good Brothers. They talked shit on WWE for literal months. They were walking out. They were gone. And then they offered them that big money deal. And then they didn't go nowhere until WWE said, fuck you guys, get out of here.
Yeah. And then it was everybody drop your contracts. Fuck working for WWE. Why would you work for those jackasses for money? You know, like I think that's one of the things I can't stand about some of those AEW guys. It's because they act like they're fucking above it.
Not
like,
AEW guys, those two. But basically, you're not wrong.
Basically, it's that little clique of fucking circle of dudes with Kenny and Cody and all those guys. Like, don't act like you're fucking above it. Like, as if the money was right, you motherfuckers would take it, especially if you're in the right part of your career, like AJ is. They gave AJ so much shit. AJ Styles sold out and went to WWE. Like, no, AJ went and made his fucking money to retire.
And personally, if they're all good, I don't know that AJ, once he is done with WWE, he won't sign another contract. But there's nothing saying he doesn't do it one-off in AEW or something.
I think it would be a dumb missed opportunity if he didn't.
Exactly. I agree.
I mean, he's done everything else.
Exactly. And then what a better way to, You finish. You literally have done everything in this business.
Yep.
Name will go down to people like next to people like Shawn. Excuse me, Shawn Michaels.
Just didn't beat Brock Lesnar.
Just couldn't beat Brock Lesnar. But
don't feel bad. There's a lot of people who never beat
him. But you then you go and do one more match with Omega versus Omega at AEW and walk away. Shit, that'd be a hell of a walk away.
Go burn the Bullet Club.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool too, man. There's a lot of ways you could play that, so I wouldn't be against seeing something like that. Next bit of news, I'm going to toss it to Tommy because this is in his neck of the woods. But NWA announced some big shit this week.
Yeah, you got the 2-night event they're going to have. They're going to have their pay-per-view in St. Louis. You got Mickie James, who they have now is working with NWA.
NWA's first all-women's pay-per-view, produced by one of the best of our generation.
And they got
to be night 1. Night 2 would be the 73rd anniversary NWA. I'm definitely going to try to go to both of them. That's probably not going to happen. I'm probably going to have to choose one or the other. So, and it would probably be the 73rd anniversary. Not that I'm not like, if it was the right card of women, I would pick the women's one.
Well, in talking about NWA, we got to mention this too. Congratulations to Camille, new NWA Women's World Champion. I'm super excited about this. That girl she's got it all. She's got it all. And it amazes me she doesn't have to talk at all. And she is so good, so amazing in the ring. Her match with Thunder was great. And then her match with Serena Deeb this weekend. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it because it was a great, great match. But
NWA was dead because of the pandemic. They're not dead. They're still making it.
They're far from it.
And Corgan dropped this week that if AEW were to approach him for a Aldis Rhodes 3, he'd be all for it. So I think you'll probably end up seeing that before the end of the year.
They're doing some. NWA is doing some work. They are doing some definite work.
Well, and you could talk shit on all this and everything, but some people are using this Forbidden Door right. Some groups. NWA, New Japan seem to be doing it really well together. I still think AEW hasn't went fucking far enough with it. But I don't know. That's all. I think that's all the news I got for today. Y'all got anything? All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back, and we'll get into the fantasy question. We're going to dive right into the next topics, and that is NXT. We're going to talk about everything from the creation to where it is now, all the stars that it's created that Vince has then shat on.
So all right, Corbin. All right, King Corbin. We're going to talk about you.
So we'll get right into that. We'll be right back, guys. was Double XP. You can catch that on Wednesdays before our show, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, with Kay and Punisher. And that is a great show. If you love video games, you will love that show. Go check that out. And then that is a real good podcast. God, I can't speak tonight. A really good podcast with me and Kay on every other Tuesday. Last night we talked about trash TV, reality TV. It was an amazing show. If you haven't checked it out, go check that out. All right, guys. It is time. I held this off because this question tonight kind of coincides with our topic. So here we go. I'm going to start just adapting Tommy's head bob. We're all just going to head bob. So I saw this one on one of my wrestling Facebook groups today, and I thought it made a good fantasy question. I did give the guys a heads up because this one needed a little bit of thought.
I still didn't think about it.
Of course you did. You never do. You never do. I give you. You never do.
Oh shit.
So, you are given control of any promotion for 1 year. What promotion and who are your champions? I will go first since I had chance at this first. I personally would go NWA. I love NWA. I think the history of it, I love what Corgan is doing with it. Truly, I wouldn't even remove Corgan. Probably the only champion I would replace at this point. I'm a little tired of Aldis as champion. It's just been so long at this point. I'm not saying he's not an amazing champion. Probably the best NWA champion we've seen in, 20 years? One of, at least. Has brought this company back from what was near death to a very successful and probably on the run to be the third or fourth best wrestling promotion in the United States, as long as they don't get another COVID thrown at them. That would be my only change, really. I love Camilla as their women's champion. I love Trevor Murdoch as the TV champion. Like, I don't know what else I would change other than I'm just a little tired of Nick Aldis. I would love to see Murdoch win this weekend. I feel like it would have been cool for Murdoch to be an NWA champion. That dude has worked his ass off. Like, he's good in the ring. But, Tommy?
Well, what the hell? What kind of question is this? Like, there's so many ways I could do this. Like, there's so many ways.
It's meant to make you think, Tommy.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm an overdoer, like big time. So if I'm gonna run a company, it would be WWE. I would take Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and I would make those three brands battle. I'd put Kenny Omega as this on SmackDown as the champion. I'd put Roman on Raw as the champion. I'd put someone like Tommaso Ciampa or somebody like that on NXT as the champion. Let them all three build their shit. And that could go 1,000,001 ways. 1,000,001 ways of if you're going to talk about mid cards and tag team champions. I mean, or who would be on what team? But that's how I would do it.
That's a good one. I like that. I feel like WWE, other than the Attitude Era, was at its best when Raw and SmackDown were truly competing. And it felt like there was
not really competing. Not like this bullshit they do where it's okay. Well, we're gonna have a draft, and this is the part I hate about the fucking draft. So we're gonna have a draft.
Well, we can't even call it a draft anymore, Tommy. It's not a draft.
Yeah, and then you end up you already know automatically like this champion's not going nowhere. This champion's not going nowhere.
Right.
This one's probably staying here. This one's probably staying here. And then when they do like make some kind of shocking, what they call a blockbuster move, they do something stupid like split up the Iconics or something.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree. Well,
give me Impact. Moose, give me Impact. Moose would be my world champion. Jordan Grace be my women's champion. And we'll have some, and we can have some run-ins and some stuff going on with AEW as well. But give me Impact for sure.
Question: You got Impact. Would you finally push the two AEW women's division and Impact? Would you finally like make those two collide?
Yes.
I feel like that's what needs to really happen.
Yes. Something that needs to happen for sure. Because they can both benefit each other. They can both benefit each other for sure.
Why would you not have Britt Baker versus Jordan Grace?
Yeah.
Britt Baker versus Jordan Grace. You could have Abaddon versus Rosemary would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've wanted to see Thunder Rosa versus Rosemary for years. I would love to see that. Nyla Rose versus Havoc. Jessica Havoc.
Yeah, Jessica Havoc.
Oh my God. The list goes on and on and on of the great matches they could build with don't combine anything else.
The women.
Take Kenny off of Impact, please.
Don't need to be there no way.
And just combine the women, it will make the Forbidden Door thing successful. Because
Kenny's ego says he needs to.
I will say this. I did want to bring this up. Did anybody watch Dark this week? I know most people here don't. But I guess someone didn't tell Ziggy Dice everybody dies. Because he got his ass destroyed by Lance Archer in the opening match of Dark this week. It was funny.
Well, at least Lance Archer did something.
I
mean, I'm just saying, to me, Lance Archer has been the biggest flop and a big man that AEW has. He's been the biggest flop.
Did you like him in New Japan?
Better than I do now. I mean, he was all right. I mean, I ain't gonna say like I was a fan or nothing like that, but like this, I don't know. It's like, to me, it's one of the biggest letdowns because you got him and then you got like Jake with him, and you just expect more. I guess. At least there's not a lot around him.
At least New Japan has somewhat of a vision, somewhat of a plan for him, unlike he's getting now.
It's like they don't know what to honestly do with him,
but
how to give him any kind of momentum.
No, and I don't know how much each wrestler has creative control at AEW, but supposedly at AEW, you're kind of in control of your own creative. And you come up with your ideas. So that, to me, if you flounder in AEW, then it's 110% your fault. So if he's floundering right now, maybe it's on him. Because I've liked Archer. But watching him from Impact 10 years ago to New Japan to AEW, I kind of agree with you, Tom.
Maybe putting him with Jake was a bad idea. Maybe that was his own thing.
But my thing is he just, I don't know if he has the charisma. He's good in the ring. He's a pretty good big guy. But, like, when he talks, like, I just get bored.
He's awkward when he speaks.
But
very awkward. That
ends the fantasy question of the week, and we're going to move right in to our main topics. We're talking about NXT, the gold brand, what some people would say is the developmental to Raw and SmackDown, but in this day and age, it is SmackDown, NXT, Raw. Like, way down here. I don't know if anybody saw it in the group that I dropped, the video of the two guys wrestling. That was better than what I've seen on Raw in 4 years.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. I saw it.
The shit that I watched on Raw this past week when I actually tried to sit through it was, oh my God. It was brutal.
I haven't actually sat through a Raw since right after Mania. And I just can't. I can't. I look at all the dirt sheets. I read what people post. And, like, why do I want to waste 3 hours of my life that I'm never going to get back? From what I'm hearing is some of the lowest wrestling garbage that we've ever seen. I mean, zombies. What else? There was something else someone was bringing up from the 90s that they saw on Raw this week. And I just...
A possessed doll.
Oh, yeah, the possessed doll. And you've got Shayna... We're talking about NXT. So you got Shayna Baszler, who was one of the most badass women to ever hold the
Queen of Spades.
The Queen of Spades, NXT Women's Champion. One of the, I think, her and Asuka were the only two women to hold it twice. So she was a badass. I hated Baszler, but I loved her. And she's now afraid of a doll. What and you know,
and you know what the rumor is? The rumor is Nikki Cross is supposed to be, once they bring the doll to life, Nikki Cross is supposed to play the part of the doll.
I've heard Liv Morgan.
Bruh, I hope it's not Liv.
I've heard Liv Morgan.
I hope it's not Liv.
I want them to kill it. I want them to kill the whole fucking idea. Stop doing that shit. To me, Alexa Bliss, and I know I'm gonna get hit from this fucking marks who don't have a life, who think because she's got a cute ass, she can't do nothing wrong when it comes to working. But I hate to tell you, her acting skills is completely fucking garbage. The way she tries to act and the way she tries to do stuff, her mannerisms, everything she does in that character makes me fucking cringe. I cannot watch it. It is
I've gotten into arguments with people on Facebook, and people are telling me Bliss is already a Hall of Famer. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here, man.
Well,
get the hell out of here.
She is the Bellazzar, so she is going to be a Hall of Famer.
You know how the Bellas are in there, though. Don't get me started on that. You know how the Bellas are there.
Hey,
we all know why the Bellas are there.
Speaking of news, that was some news we missed. The Bellas have canceled their show.
Yeah, they are. It hasn't been official, but they did say this week that they are ready to be done. They've come to the point they don't want their kids to have no choice in being celebrities. So blah 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 blah. They've made their money.
And you know what that means.
FYI is the kids are getting older, and you don't know what whores that mommies are.
Mm-hmm.
And what light that everybody else sees y'all in, which is
exactly. Exactly.
That's more what that is.
We know why you're doing it. You ain't fooling nobody.
Yeah. Hey, where's that Kanye West track at? But
wait. He was with the Kardashian. He's got money.
Well, I could have told you a long time ago he turned into his song. But anyway, so NXT developmental. We three here been watching wrestling a long time, so we know how this show originally started.
It was laughable.
Did anybody think that the game show idea of NXT was actually a good idea?
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I thought NXT was going to be around for a hot second. It would be one of those things that would just come and go.
Like main event?
Yeah, main event or Sunday Night Heat.
205 Live.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, they'll do this for a little while. This is a way, like, tough enough. They'll bring these in. They'll do them for a couple of seasons, and then it'll get played out. And then they'll still do it, but they won't do it like to this degree.
It'll be on the network.
Right.
It'll be on the network.
Because I didn't think it would last past 2 seasons in that incarnation.
And I mean, you look at it, it had some interesting guys on it. You had EC3 before he was EC3.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan got his start on the original NXT. The Nexus the original NXT gave us the Nexus, one of the biggest storylines that WWE ever fucked in the history of their fucking company.
Sheamus is still running to this day.
Nexus
they're running to this day.
Nexus could have been what the Shield was easily, but you gave him to Mr. Cena and let him kill it.
Oh yeah.
But then I think it was the second year they were about to pull the plug, right? They were about to say, we're done with NXT. We're moving on. It's not working. And that's when Dusty and Triple H got together. Were like, well, let us take over. Let us do this. They were already ending their relationship with Florida Championship Wrestling. They were looking to go back to OVW. But Triple H, no one can knock that Triple H isn't a smart wrestling businessman. He knows his business. he knew it would be beneficial for WWE to have their own developmental, to stop farming out developmental. And man, I would say within a year of taking over, he had totally flipped the script. And don't get me wrong, even after they went away from the game show aspect, the first couple of years of NXT, like as a developmental, were also cringy as shit. Derek Bateman, aka EC3, got married in like the first season. They had a wedding within the first season. It was really bad. They were filming it between before SmackDowns, and it wasn't any good. But when they got that deal with Full Sail, that changed the game for NXT.
Yep.
It gave them their own home. There was a point when I forgot that NXT was WWE product.
And I think they should have stayed in Full Sail.
I don't know if moving to the Capitol Wrestling Center was the greatest idea.
To me, when it was in Full Sail, there was never putting on a bad show, ever. It was always good. And I think it's because those guys were comfortable there, and it helped a lot. So, like, I think they should have stayed. But yeah, those first couple of seasons were fucking cringy as fuck. It was basically a way, like you said, OVW was basically a way to bring OVW to the light so everyone can kind of see it. It's kind of like a birth child off of OVW in a way. Because, I mean, they've always had their, like, OVW was their development center, basically. That's where
it switched between OVW and FCW, right? Like, it kind of would rotate between the two. It would be because whichever one wasn't feeding WWE at the time was feeding Impact.
Yeah.
So then Triple H takes over, and then he starts bringing in guys like Roman Reigns. Well, Roman, Seth, all of them were already at FCW in the original. But if you listen to them talk when it became NXT and they started working with Dusty and Triple H, like the whole thing changed.
He walked in and looked at Dusty and acknowledged me.
Don't get me started on that Roman Reigns storyline. That thing getting stupid.
It's getting great, yes.
Stupid, man.
I think it's fucking great.
Stupid. Ain't enough of them.
I am the head of the table.
It ain't enough of them to be a
Man, dude, I laughed so motherfucking hard this past week when he looked at it and he said, Jimmy, do you know what kind of position I'm in? He's like, I'm Jay. He's
like, does it really matter?
Does it really matter? The way things are going right now, it don't matter.
It don't matter. Does it really matter? Man, that thing's stupid.
She had me rolling, man.
And then it'd be one thing if the Usos won the belts last week. That gives it more validity to me. But they didn't.
They need them to keep losing.
They're building the breakup, and supposedly this is one of the things we forgot in the news. Supposedly they're building SummerSlam to be this year's Mania. Like they want it to be that big.
Yeah, they want it Roman versus Cena.
Roman versus Cena. Supposedly Lesnar has re-signed and is coming back. Cardi B's going to host, which that to me is a dumb idea.
That's to bring other fans, though. I get it, though. I know why they do. They do that for marketing reasons.
Well, she just had a tip. She just had a tip with Lacey Evans, and by then Lacey Evans will be good from her pregnancy and be able to be back. So
it's the same reason that Poppy was on NXT. And
that's true.
Yeah,
and like Poppy, like literally, like pressed the button on her phone to release her music while she was on NXT. That brings fans of Poppy's to watch wrestling just because she's on there. I mean, you never know.
That's true.
That's why they do that stupid shit.
I mean, if that's the case, bring Bobby Bones. The man's got like 10 million followers if you really want to bring in some fans. But anyway, this is my first question on all this. Do y'all feel that Triple H was the real turning point for NXT, or what in the beginning was it more Dusty? Because if you hear a lot of these guys talk from the original NXT days, they're not really talking about H. They're talking about how Dusty worked with them in promo class, worked with them on their matches, worked with them.
It was probably more along the lines of as crazy as it sounds, even though Dusty has had was a bigger name than Triple H and was probably more respected in the back than Triple H was, but he probably wasn't respected as much with the old man as Triple H was. So it would probably be Dusty would have an idea, and for it to actually happen, he would need Triple H in order to make it happen, so he could get in the old man's ear and make it happen. So that's probably why they would see Dusty getting all the credit for every little thing, but Dusty had the demerit with a younger talent like that. So it would be stupid to say Triple H didn't have something to do with it, because he definitely did.
Yeah.
But you got stuff like the Dusty Classic and all that kind of stuff, and it puts a nice big
War games,
and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like that's one of the things. Like, and I think that's why some people kind of laugh at Cody a little bit, like, you want all this stuff. Well, NXT's been using your daddy stuff for a while.
Wow. Yep.
Like way before AEW, bro. You just can't step in and just say, okay, well, now this is
and that's where I think that Cody's kind of getting it wrong, because I don't think he looks at NXT as a WWE product, and it is, but like Dusty's hands are all over NXT, and I don't think he would want.
It would be different. It would be different if he didn't have anything to do with it, and they just used his name to sell the product. Then it would be different, which is some shit WWE would do.
Hell yeah,
has done.
Yeah, they definitely jump all over that. But unlike usually, this is a different case where Dusty actually had something to do with it. So Dusty loved NXT.
That's my thing. I don't feel like Dusty would have liked Cody shitting on NXT as much as he has. But it is what it is at that point. So let's move on to this topic. Well, we got about 10 or so minutes left. We're going to take our last commercial break, and then we're going to talk about all the awesome stars that NXT has given us. And where are they now? Because most of them aren't with WWE anymore.
Nope.
I can tell you right now, a few of them are probably actually in some shit fucking hole in Mexico in some hotel room when the air conditioning don't work. Fuck you, Vince McMahon.
And on that note,
up like we do. No one does us like we do. Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's not to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go. Gonna go and take it over. You call us King Kong. Here we come, running through the door. Don't wait long. Don't blink.
And that is the Geek Gauntlet. You can catch that Saturdays with Will and Shaw, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And then the Sports Report, you can catch that on Mondays with Toady. With Toady C, Will, and 7, 9 Central, 10 Eastern as well. both of those shows. What's up?
You know, they say if you listen hard enough on a Wednesday night, you can hear Kevin Nash tearing his quad.
Wait. Yep, I just heard it.
Oh man!
And what do you know? There's Shawn Michaels throwing another partner through plate glass.
There you go.
So to finish off this topic, I think the biggest topic in NXT is the stars that it has had and cultivated, the people that it has brought in from the indies and made into household names, basically. Then for them to go up and literally you can take the list of all the stars that NXT has made and then take the list of the ones that have actually went on to be stars in WWE. And I right now can think of like 4.
That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame.
Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns,
Sasha Banks,
and Bayley.
That's yeah.
Well, you still got to give Dean Ambrose was still a star.
I was gonna say Dean, but right now he's a star for another company. So
Baron Corbin's turned to trash.
That did not take very long, in my opinion. But
trash.
Missing?
It depends on what you're talking about, star level, because you can't push everyone.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but
and some of them have had their pushes. It wasn't like world championship push. Like you got Shinsuke, who's had pushes. He just never had world championship pushes.
Or Oscar getting disrespected on the main roster.
Both of those you could go to. Vince doesn't like putting titles on people that the audience can't understand, and that's all that is to it. And that's what it is.
Talking about the women wrestling, honestly, it's all of NXT is basically the women's division. Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Asuka, Nikki Cross,
Nia did a stint.
I mean, all these girls come from NXT, so that's basically the fucking women's division.
But in that respect, that's the only way that the NXT's been successful. They've stocked up the women's division.
What hurts is when you got stuff like the War Raiders and you do nothing with them, or you got
DIY.
You bring them over. But I ain't mad about breaking them up because I ended in like so many good matches.
No, it did. But this was my thing. This is my thing about the DIY thing. You bring them up to break them up to have an awesome match and then send them back down to do it all over again. That was my thing. And I realize Ciampa now does not want to be anywhere near the main roster.
Neither does Johnny.
I don't blame either of them. They are killing it. They could probably retire in NXT just like Adam Cole and be world renowned in NXT. But in the beginning, Ciampa would have been such an amazing heel on either show, like such an amazing heel. But you never made that pull. And then it also. Aleister Black, amazing NXT champion. Keith Lee. I still want to know what's going on with Keith Lee. Supposedly, he's supposed to be giving us a download very soon. I want to know what's going on with Keith Lee.
Well, you got Aleister Black that's gone. You got who else? Let's see.
Andrade, another NXT champion. Yeah. Let's see who else has held the NXT title that is no longer there. Samoa Joe. Well, another guy who was over in NXT that never really got his fair shot in the main roster. Some people talk Sean Spears. He was super over in NXT.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The 10, I loved Ty Dillinger in 10. I loved it. It was awesome to me. And he played that so well.
It's been quoted. I don't know how much truth to it, but it's been quoted that when the crowd would go 10, 10, 10. Vince McMahon would this little go. I hate that fucking 10 shit. There's a good chance that he fired him over the 10.
Good chance. We all know how Vince is. There's not a good chance. That's why he fired that man. Because Ty was still over when he let him go. I was at the Rumble when Ty was the 28th, and that arena erupted for Dillinger.
He wasn't 28th. He was number 10.
Oh, he was 10. You're right.
You're right. 10. That's they gave him the 10th spot.
I'm sorry. All I remember about that Rumble was Cena winning 16. That's what I remember. Just to make Tommy roll his eyes.
That's one of those things, almost like Owen Hart's death, that I just try to forget. Like it never happened.
Let's try to forget it, man. Let's try to forget it.
Back on, Keith Lee is a great example. Keith Lee was the first man ever to hold the NXT Championship and the North American title. Now, I don't agree with how they did that for him to win it and then literally just vacate it. But he was so over at NXT, and it literally took him being on the Reign roster a month to kill all his momentum. Everything.
Let's not forget that they also killed
Iconics.
The Iconics. What was the other group? Killian Dan's group.
Oh, Sanity.
Yeah,
it's been really interesting listening to Alexander Wolf talk about all the plans. Supposedly, 90% of the ideas that they had for Sanity is what they've used with Retribution.
Ah, dang.
It's a bitch when places do that. I know how that works.
Yeah, it is.
I've worked with people that way.
The place shall not be named.
Saying, if they're watching, fuck you.
I
know exactly what it's like to tell you that you got a dumb fucking idea and then turn around and see your same idea be used later on and they take credit for it. And say, this was my idea. Yeah.
So if I'm Triple H and I have put all of this time and sweat and equity into NXT for my guys to constantly go up there and then just to be torn down and destroyed and either sent back to me for me to rebuild or released, I would be pissed.
It's like, the thing about it is, it's like, why even... I don't get why they want so many of those stars at one time. You got so many. I don't mind you bringing up 3 or 4 at a time, but fucking use the 3 or 4 you brought up. Why are you killing their momentum run that they got? Every time the draft comes on, they're gonna bring up Io Shirai or someone like that and just ruin her. They are. They're gonna bury her ass. They're gonna bring Io up after she's just been NXT champion. They're not gonna do jack shit with her. Put her with Asuka. Go tag team.
Go have a lose to Carmella.
Here's one we forgot. Will, I can't believe you didn't bring this up because this your girl, Athena, Ember Moon, hugely over in NXT at one point.
Well, I'll say this.
She's actually getting pushed again.
Yeah, she's getting pushed again. But the thing with her, the only thing I can say, I love her to death, but the only thing I can say, her injury history didn't really give her a leg to stand on, so to speak.
She didn't have good matches either on the main
roster. That's a good point.
A lot,
and
it's hard to find somebody to work with her like that. There's only a very, very small handful of women that can wrestle that pace.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Raquel Gonzalez fan, and I would
I'm not either.
Love to see Ember as NXT champion, women's champion. I'm hoping they pull the belt.
Love to see Dakota Kai as the
NXT. I mean, I
don't get that either. I mean, because I'm not a look of the aesthetic of her, but the girl can go, and I don't know why she got looked over in this instance.
I agree. I wasn't a fan of Dakota Kai when she was kind of what I call like Bailey or Alexa Bliss when they were.
Dude, I used
bubbly.
to her when she first come out. I was like, "Who the fuck is this Bailey ripoff?"
Yeah.
That was exactly my words, dude.
She can
looks
go
like she could be her little sister or something.
She can go though.
Dude.
Dakota can go though.
After a while, she made me a fan.
She can go, and I'm loving her new heel character. I love the new Dakota Kai. I love it. It's very enjoyable, and I agree. She has earned the right to hold that title, and be more than a tag team champion in NXT. So I want to end at this. If you could not fix, because I don't think NXT is broken, but if you could make NXT better, and I do want to note this, one of my things with NXT is I think they're expanding too fast. You now have NXT, NXT UK, and now that the pandemic's over, I think within the year, you're going to have NXT India and Japan. And that worries me what that's going to do to indies in smaller companies. Like WWE is really
the point. That's their point.
Well, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But WWE is going to ruin the industry eventually.
I don't know. The UK is doing pretty good. I mean, the ratings are pretty good, and it's pumping out talent over here.
Personally, I think that what they've been doing in NXT UK lately has been better than the product they've been putting out on NXT. Personally,
I don't know. I don't agree. I don't agree with that statement because I think you got wrestling talent that's always going to be there, particularly in Dallas, Los Angeles, Chicago, those cities like that turn out stars. I think you'll still have your good base. I don't think WWE will get to the point where it ruins the industry because you're always going to have talent in those cities to keep things going. But I do see your point with that.
So my final question would be, what would you do? One thing that you think that NXT needs to do to make themselves just even better than they are. Personally, I think Triple H needs to put his foot down and have some say in how they take his talent and use them on the main roster. Something like stop destroying what I'm building. Because is it not true 9 times out of 10, Vince pulls a War Raider and totally changes the entire story. And everything that they built is null and void, and these guys got to start all the way over, and that's why they fail.
I don't know. To me, they're just not doing nothing wrong really right now. I mean, they got a 2-hour show. They're on Tuesdays. There's no competition. I mean,
right now they're pulling in better views than they ever did against AEW. They're pulling better views on Tuesdays than they ever did against AEW on Wednesdays, and AEW is sucking it in the Friday spot. So
to me, I think you just limit or you give a set period of call-ups to the main roster. I know you can't stop them all, but give these guys some time to establish themselves, be better wrestlers, grow to their best potential, and then move them up. I think that's the only thing. I think that's the only thing you really can say because they're doing everything else right.
It's not so much NXT for me. Like I said, it's just I hate seeing these guys be so over in NXT, loving them, loving what they're doing, and then they come up to the main roster and they just die. They just plummet and fall off.
We forgot about Ricochet.
Oh my
Ricochet!
goodness.
How did we forget Ricochet? I'm actually surprised he was not on the list last week, to be honest.
Yeah,
well, and then but is supposedly his girlfriend Casey Catanzaro is very big in the backstage back there, so maybe that's why he's getting stayed on. So you never know. You can never tell me that it isn't about who you're sleeping with.
I guess maybe if those pictures that leaked that time of him didn't get him fired, then
he's safe. He's pretty safe. If that didn't get him.
We've talked about this. The best thing that Ricochet could do right now is either go back to NXT or walk away from WWE because they are killing what was one of the best.
Or release some more pictures. That always gets people over sometimes. Look at Seth. Seth released his, and he won a championship after that.
But I feel like Ricochet was one of the biggest signings coming off the indies at one point. Like, everybody was ecstatic about Ricochet signing with WWE, and he is just, he is dropped to the bottom of the barrel. He's not even, like, I don't think he's even on main event right now.
There's a title on his waist, but I think Apollo Crews is going to go that same route eventually.
I hate that too because I loved Apollo in NXT.
There's a title on his waist, but eventually, I think it's going to happen to him too.
I like Apollo.
I don't know. He's kind of, and I don't know. He's kind of killing it with Prince Nana's gimmick.
My issue with Apollo, I don't think he fully believes he's a heel. That's why that character doesn't come off so well to me. I mean, because you have to be able to embrace that character in full in order for it to convey to fans. And it just doesn't convey to me. They got him speaking that stupid accent that he never had when he came in there. So, I think eventually it's going to catch up to him too.
It'd be about like Lana 1 minute, she's rushing, next minute she's
Or Kane up there talking with the thing like this one time, and he comes out just speaking English like it ain't nothing. Oh.
But
was I? Oh, my bad. Was I not holding it up?
Was I holding it right there?
But guys, in all honesty, NXT is a great product, and they do great things over there. Triple H knows what he's doing. He knows how to build guys and build characters and still tell stories in the ring. One thing I think NXT has up on AEW is they do still have just your basic wrestling match. It's not all the spots.
Right.
Huh?
Right. But Tommy brings up a good point.
I'm sorry.
Too. But Tommy brings up a good point too, because they do have William Regal over there, and that might be another one of his saving graces. That's a good point.
But guys, that's gonna do it for us tonight, and we're gonna take off. As we were saying, NXT is a great product. If you don't watch it, you are living under a rock. So go check that out.
Move.
But we will see y'all next week. I think we're going to be doing a pay-per-view look back. We will post it on the page to exactly what show we are watching when we decide. Because I like to throw curveballs at these boys. But guys, thank y'all for joining us this week, and we'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a great week.